Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Ivan Swakaba, and today I'm going to do a simple tutorial on how to make a simple birthday e-card using Photoshop. But before we begin, remember to subscribe so that you can get updates on more videos that I will post. So we'll start. So this is how the final e-card will look like. We have 3 different pictures, some fonts and gradient. That's it. So we can begin now. So these are the 3 pictures that I am going to use. Those are the 3 pictures. So the first thing we do is create a new document. You can use any size you want, but I'm going to use 800 by 900 pixels. Resolution, I'll keep it at 72 pixels per inch. Color mode RGB 8-bit. Click on OK. So the first thing we're going to do is put the blue gradient background on our document. And I'm just going to put that in a new layer. Then click the gradient tool. Here is the gradient tool. Click up there. Then I want to give it a darker shade of blue than the one which is already here. And so that's the kind of blue I want it to have. Click on OK. Also for the last one here, I want it to have that color, that same color. Okay, by default, maybe when you open the gradient tool, it may not have the middle pointer. Maybe it could be looking like this. So to add it, all I need to do is click at the center. Then I'll give this a lighter shade of blue. On color, then yes, I think that's good. Click on OK. Click on OK. Then I'll just drag from left to right to apply the gradient. Left to right. And that's it. You have a nice cool gradient to work with. So on top of this, I'm going to add an ellipse shape. So just select it from the tools, then I'll add it here. This is what will separate the upper part of iCard from the lower part. So make sure the only part that gets to touch our iCard is actually just the lower part of on the border, just the lower part of the ellipse tool. Then click on fill. I want it to be white, not that color. Then I'll add some stroke, and for this I'll choose a shade of red for the stroke. Okay, so I think that's nice. Then all I need to do is just add a bit of this until it looks nice. I think that's fine. I can work with that. So click on the pointer tool. So that's it. So far we have a background, but you can see there are some parts which are appearing here which I don't want. So I can click on the ellipse tool and I can just adjust that a bit by clicking at the top and pulling. Yeah, so that looks better. So I'm going to put my first 2 images, which will be on the background of the upper part. Have this one and this one. So I'll pick the first one. For me to be able to pick it, I'll have to double click and remove the lock, change this to a layer. Then click. So I'll just click on the image, drag it and place it here. Then I'll minimize, holding the shift and dragging inwards. Then I can minimize it again, holding shift to maintain or to keep aspect ratio. I think that's fine. Then that will be a bit on the left side. That's fine. Then I'll bring in the other image. This, I actually want this to look the other side. I want her to look towards the opposite side. First I'll convert it to a layer. Then I will flip it. Image, I'll go on image rotation and flip canvas horizontal. Yep. Then I will also drag it to my document. Click and drag it and add it here. Then I'll also minimize by holding shift as I drag inwards from the corner to keep the aspect ratio. Just like that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's nice. Gives it a good feel. Yes, then since I want to work on these two images at the same time, I will merge the layers. So I'll just click on the first image, hold Control and click on the second one. Then I'll right click and all I'll need to do is merge the layers. So there, I can edit them together at the same time. Then notice the image, it's coming above the border we created with the ellipse tool. But I want it to be behind the ellipse tool or constrained by the border we created. So all I need to do is click Alt. Then you can see the pointer has changed and then I can click in between the two layers like that. And that is clipping. So it is clipped and constrained by the ellipse tool we created. Another way to do it, if I can just go back and do, you can simply right click on the layer, then click on create clipping mask and it will clip to the layer that is directly below it. Yeah, so that looks better. Then I want to make the image look a bit bluish so that it doesn't contrast so much with the background that I already have. So to do that, I can just click down here, choose photo filter. Then I'll click on this icon here to make sure that I don't change all the layers below. I just change, it's still like creating the clipping mask again. So I just click on this. Okay, then I'll choose a cooling filter. So that gives it a bit of blue shade. Then let me just reduce it a bit so that it's not too much. I don't want it to be too much blue. I think 15 is good. If I can click on the preview, you can see the difference. Yes, I think that looks good. So we'll keep it at that. So the next thing I'll do, I will add the third image. I'll just double click to convert it to a layer, then drag it, and I'll come and put it into a document. You can see because I had selected this layer, it's automatically clipped to the ellipse tool. But in case it was not, let me just click on release clipping mask. In case you just brought your image and it was like this, but I want it to be constrained by the border of the ellipse tool, I can just do the same thing. Just right click and create clipping mask. You see that? Then holding shift, I drag inwards from the corners to maintain aspect ratio. I want to position it nicely over there. Okay. I think that's nice. Yes, I think I'll keep it over there. If I want to make sure it's at the center of my document, I can just click on the layer, then holding Control, click on the background. Let me just click on the layer, holding Control, click on the background. Then make sure the pointer here is chosen and I center align it by clicking here. Yeah, so it's at the center now. So as you can notice, my picture has a lot of unwanted background. I want to remove all this unwanted background. There are two ways I can do it. The most common way is just to click on the quick selection tool and select the parts that I want to remain, but I'm going to use a brush tool in this instance. So having the layer selected, I click on add a layer mask, then making sure I've selected the layer mask, I go and choose the brush tool. Okay, then up here on the brush tool, I want it to be I choose the second one. Okay, then make sure here at the color palette on where it's showing the two colors, if it's not showing black and white, you can click here and by default it will change to white and black, white on the foreground and black on the background. But because I want to remove the unwanted parts, I'll switch the two by clicking here, and black will be on the foreground. So notice what happens. Make sure you have selected the layer mask thumbnail. Then I start just clicking, and that will remove the unwanted parts.
Okay, I can increase the size of my brush.
Then I can change the brush to the first one and remove the remaining parts. You notice this brush is not as hard as the first one, so on its edges it doesn't quite remove everything, so it gives it a nice feel.
Okay, I think that looks better.
In case you notice you removed some of the parts that you wanted to remain, actually I'll just click on this, switch back, make white the foreground, choose the hard one, then I just click inside here, and that way my picture looks up, yeah, I think looks much better. Okay, so we can make a bit of adjustment on this picture since it's our main picture and we want it to look better than the background. So I want to change how the image looks. Notice we have layer mask selected, so I have to choose the image itself, the thumbnail of the image. So I click on the thumbnail of the image, go to image, adjustments, levels, and I will choose the default. These are presets, so I'll choose increase contrast 3. Already the picture looks nice. I can make a few adjustments down here just until I get the kind of feel I want. Okay, that looks a bit better. Click on OK. Then I can adjust a bit of the brightness and contrast, just reduce the brightness a bit and increase the contrast a bit. Okay, then I can adjust the saturation just a bit. So this is dependent on your personal preference. Yeah, so don't want the image to now look too colorful, just reduce the saturation a bit. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, so our image looks much better than before. Then we can double click here and put an outer glow on our image. Okay, notice it has added a glow just around our image. And then I want to change the color. I want it to look a bit like the background itself, that shade of blue. Okay, and then I can maybe just the spread just a bit, I think 9 is fine. Can increase the opacity a bit. Yeah, looks much better, so we can work with that. Okay, now we already have our 3 images put, and you can see already the e-card looks very, very much better. Now we're going to put add the font, and the first one we're going to work with, we're going to write the birthday, the word birthday. It will be in big font just above here. There are many fonts you can choose, but for now I will use 3 different kinds of fonts. In case you don't have the fonts I will choose, you can download them online. So for the first font I'll use Adobe Devanagari. Hope I got that one right. So select the text tool from the left panel, then click inside here. Okay, I can keep it at size 135 pt. Color is white, and I write in capital letters birthday, just like that. then I can try and align it. Notice you can see the guidelines that are appearing on my document. The reason they are appearing to guide me is because I have this selected. Click on view, make sure you have snap selected, but I don't really need them. If I want to make sure that the birthday is center aligned on my document, I just click on it, holding control, I click on the background, here are the layers, and then I just click on center align here, just like that. So it was actually central. So that's birthday. The font is nice. Maybe I'll just bring it down a bit. Yeah, I think that's cool. And then we can just give it a bit of stroke. Let me just change this to the red we have here. Okay, that's nice. Then since I want to write happy behind it, I can just drop shadow on birthday so that it looks as if it's on top, like it's above. So just, you can put the settings as you desire. Just make sure you have the right settings for yourself. Yeah, so for me, I think a distance of 17, spread of 6, and size of 10 is good for me. And I click on OK. So you can see it looks like it's three-dimensional. Actually looks like birthday is a bit above our layer. That's the effect of the shadow. Very powerful. Click on OK. Then I'm going to add all the other fonts, all the other text that will use the same font. The first one is the date. The date for the birthday will use the same font, and I'll just try. Let me just reduce the size here to maybe 30 pt. Date is 23rd of September. Sorry, I want it in small letters. 23rd September. That's 2018. Okay, and then I'll put it a bit up there and increase the font size a bit. I think 40 pt is fine. Yeah, that's center aligned. Then I can put a border around it, just to highlight the date also, though it's small. So I'll add a rectangle. So I'll just go to shape tool, choose rectangle tool, make sure there's no fill, then stroke can remain white color 1 pt, that's fine. Then I'll just draw it around the date. Okay, then I'll put her name, which is also in the same font, and just below the date, and that's, I'll increase the font size a bit, maybe to 72. And the name is Hannah Brenda. That's Hannah Brenda. It can sit somewhere there. There, it's fine. Okay. Then I'll write happy. I'm using a different font for happy. Remember, we want it to come behind birthday, so let me just put it above here. I'm using a capital H, then the rest are small letters. So for this, I'm going to use a common font, which that's Vivaldi. Yeah, Vivaldi. And then I'll position it there. Work on the size a bit. Maybe to 100, 101, that's fine. Okay, bring it there, just a bit behind birthday, but I want H to be bigger than the rest of the letters, so I'll click on the text tool, then choose H and increase its size. Okay, I think it can be 135, just the same size as the birthday. Then to reduce the gap between the H and the A, I can reduce it from here. That's fine. Okay, it is center aligned. Let me just move it up a bit. I think it looks pretty good. Then I can change the color. I want it to be red in color, this red we have here. Okay, then you can also add a stroke to it, a white stroke this time. That looks nice. We can increase the size a bit. 5. Yeah, 5 is good. Then since I want it to be behind birthday, I'll just drag it here and take it below birthday. Okay, like that. You can see it's behind birthday. Then I'm going to put the title, her title, which would be in a different font. Okay, just over there. And this time I'm going to use a font called Hardest. It's a nice font. You can download it online. That's Hardest Style Demo OTI. And I can reduce the size to around 72 also. Then I write sister. And then I will align it together with the name. I think that's fine. I can bring the name closer. That's fine. This shade is a bit dark, that shade of red, so I can click here on the color and make it a bit brighter. Okay, yeah, I think that's fine. Then the last text you're going to write is maybe a good wish, something good about the person. So that's the last. We're going to use the same font as sister. So I click on the text tool, click inside our document. I can reduce our size maybe to around 24. Then we say we are celebrating an icon, a star, an example to our generation. So I can edit a bit. Remember, it's supposed to be font, supposed to be hardest style. Then I will increase the size of the font. That's too small. Don't worry, my system is a bit slow. Okay, 33. PT was fine. Okay, then to make it a bit highlighted so we can see it, I'll change the color to white. Then I'll give it put a rectangle behind it so that at least it will be highlighted from the rest of the text. So that the rectangle will come below it, I'll select the layer below the text, then click on the rectangle tool. I want to have a fill this time, and I want the color to be this shade of blue, which is here. Okay, I don't want it to have a stroke. Then I draw the rectangle. Okay, that looks nice. Maybe I can remove a bit of opacity so that looks better. Then I can remove bold from our text. Okay, if I make it bigger, yes, you can see now how it looks. Celebrating an icon, a star, an example to our generation. And there we have it. Very simple tools. All we needed was a bit of shapes, 3 pictures, a bit of editing the images, and just font. And I believe anyone you can send this to will really enjoy their birthday. So thank you so much for watching. You can comment on this. You can write your comments on the comment section. And also, if you need us to do a video concerning something, you can let us know. So remember to subscribe to our video. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time, have a lovely time. Thank you.